There was a time when corporate uniforms were limited to being grey, black and navy, using standard repetitive styles. Realising that there was a gap in the market to launch clothing that featured a more feminine look was the brainchild of Charlotte Stiffell. Her aim was to design a flattering, stylish uniform that made staff feel special at work. After many hours of research into design and sourcing UK fabrics and trimmings, in 2009 the company launched its first innovative collection of stylised corporate clothing. Now firmly established in London City and West End, what types of clients have been attracted to Charlotte's stylish bespoke clothing collections?
We supply receptionists, that's a huge part of our market. We also supply hotel chains, we supply casinos and small individual companies with a range of workwear and safety clothing. You're very limited to what you can buy as a company in the way of corporate uniforms, and I feel that there was a big gap in the market for something with a little bit more creativity. We mainly use 100% wool, which is a Savile Row fabric from Holland and Sherry, which you're going to hear some more about later on. We also use a crepe fabric, which is a washable fabric, and we also use a polywool. I think that people need to feel good when they go to work. There needs to be some style and design behind the uniforms that they're wearing, and ultimately when they get dressed in the morning they need to feel good about the day that they've got ahead.
With clients in London City and the West End looking ever smarter and stylish, let's spend a few moments taking a quick look at how these garments are manufactured. It's important that your clothing fits correctly to ensure that perfect match of comfort and style that is tailored for the individual. The first step is to try on some samples. Using traditional methods, the sample that fits the closest is then pinned in place to get a close body fit. All measurements are then taken down, such as sleeve and body lengths, with the information being written down onto an order form. These measurements are then brought back to the office and are entered into the clothing design software, which generates the correct measurements for a digital outline, which is then sent to the pattern printer. The fabric for the garment is laid out, and using the paper template, the cutter marks around this pattern with chalk before proceeding to cut the material. We also use an interline which gives the fabric body to enhance the shape. Once the cutting out has been completed, the fabric and the interline are ready to be fused. The two materials are placed together and are passed through the fusing press, which bonds them as one. With the separate elements cut and fused, these sections are now handed over to the machine pool. Here the collection of highly skilled machinists matches the seams and sews the garments together. Once the basic garment is complete, buttonholes and buttons are also added. Now that the item has been put together, it's ready to be pressed and ironed. At the pressing unit, care is given to take out any creases, especially on the seams, ensuring that the finished garment looks at its best and is ready to wear. Before a garment is sent out, it's given a final once-over. Checks such as adding labels, removing loose bits of cotton, and ensuring lining is tight and that any splits or vents are the correct length. With the checks complete, the final garment is measured and compared against the original order, ensuring that the two match up before being delivered. The final uniform is then put together on a hanger, when spare buttons and care labels are the last items to be added before the uniform is placed in a dust cover and is ready to be delivered to its new owner. Charlotte Stiffell is extremely proud to be able to source fabrics as well as to be able to manufacture clothing in the United Kingdom. Charlotte's main fabric supplier is Savile Row's Holland and Sherry. Established for nearly 200 years, Holland & Sherry are experts with woolen textiles, so know a thing or two about how to take care of specialised fabrics. Here Lindsay Taylor, who is the Group Sales Director from Holland & Sherry, offers advice on how to care for your clothing to keep it looking at its best.
Hello, my name is Lindsay Taylor. I'm absolutely delighted to be speaking on behalf of Charlotte Stiffell and the wonderful uniforms that she and her colleagues make here in London. Charlotte chooses Holland & Sherry as her fabric choice, her luxury fabric choice, but it's really important when you think about fabric, you have to think about care. So, when you think about a wool garment, you have to think about your hair, because what you're really wearing is something made from very, very luxurious hair or fleece from a sheep, a merino sheep. So, let's take this gorgeous garment here. Okay, this is made from luxury fabric, made in the UK. It's fine merino worsted. Worsted is a type of wool. So what we want you to do is every day think about when you're sitting down, don't rub your elbows on your tables, etc. Look after your product. Hang it up every day. The best way is to, if you can take your garment home, hang it up in a shower, let it have a steam and let it relax. Like you would comb your hair every day, so take a brush, which you can ask for. Please take a brush and brush it now. If you're brushing your hair, you would brush your hair down with the flow of your hair. So again, brush with the flow of the garment. Don't brush up, brush with the flow of the garment. Steam it in the shower, allow it to relax. Because if your company has a steamer, please use it, because that will really help the longevity of the garment. It will help relax the fibres and make the garment better and more comfortable for you to wear. Also, another very good tip, if you don't have a steamer, is use a steam iron. Take a damp cloth, a clean tea towel, something like that, and then put on a very, very light steam on your iron. So you're going to do that around the neckline, under the armpits, perhaps across the skirt where you've been sitting, or your skirt area of your dress or your skirt. Again, gentlemen, around about the crotch area where we all crease. So just steam it very, very gently. Again, let it relax. But the most important thing, again, is to have respect for your garment. You're wearing a beautiful luxury product made by Charlotte Stiffell and her team here in the UK. It's got lovely fabric from our company, Holland & Sherry. Please wear it with pride. Remember, you're representing your company, so hang it up on a hanger. If you want to dry clean it, which is necessary, but don't dry clean it every week, don't dry clean it every 2 weeks, try and resist. When you find it necessary to dry clean your garment, please ask Charlotte and her team at Charlotte Stiffell for the dry cleaning service that they offer for their product. Another important fact that people think or forget to think about when they wear fine clothing is they forget about the fit of the garment. If it's too tight, it will end up looking terrible and you will not represent your company or yourself in the correct manner. This is a fine example of a lovely, lovely top end of the range uniform made here in the UK by Charlotte and her team. Beautifully fitted, shows the bust line, absolutely super, shows somebody it looks really super, very thin. Little bit of movement here because you have to sit down, a lot of you, or you're moving around. Now, if I was to suddenly grab a bit, you get this, yeah, nice flat stomach, aren't you lucky? But if you sit down, it will crease and it will look really, really bad. An example, too tight for the individual. You can see this terrible, terrible creasing. So far too tight. This individual has insisted that it was tight around the front of the stomach and the thighs. Also, too tight to the waistline. Wrinkling over the top. Not good. Also, as we've told you, if you need your garments dry cleaned, you must call Charlotte and the team. This individual, who will remain nameless, decided to put it in the washing machine. So we have one wrinkly skirt, one lining that has now become longer than the skirt itself, and in fact you wouldn't even want it to wipe your kitchen floor. It's very important that you take fitting advice from Charlotte and her team. They are the experts. They know about how garments and how fabric will make into lovely and beautiful luxury garments. So please take their advice. If they say You need it 1/4 of an inch, 25 centimetres, whatever, bit more relaxed. Please, please take their advice. They are the experts in their field.
So to quickly recap, let's look at the key points again on the best ways to care for your garment. Having the right size will avoid a lot of problems later on, as the garment will keep its shape better and will be easier to look after. To order the correct size of clothing will avoid adding unnecessary wrinkling and curling, which can occur when sitting if the uniform is too tight. Having the right size will avoid a lot of problems later on, as the garment will keep its shape better and will be easier to look after. Try to hang your uniform up as quickly as possible, which will help the garment keep its shape and avoid creasing, which can happen if it's thrown on a bed, for example. If you are able to do so, change before you leave for home and keep the uniform at work. If possible, use a steamer or steam iron on a low setting with a wet tea towel to steam out any wrinkles or creases that may happen, especially running the steamer or iron along the seams. This is a simple method to keep the material relaxed, reducing the need for specialist cleaning. Speaking of which, please contact Charlotte Stiffell regarding any dry cleaning needs. At all costs, try to avoid cleaning your uniform in a washing machine. The majority of garments aren't designed to be cleaned in this manner and can lead to the uniform losing its shape and at worst becoming unwearable. If your uniform is washable, please ensure that you use the care instructions that have been supplied. We recommend that uniforms should be washed on the reverse on a delicate wash and removed as soon as the cycle is finished to minimise creasing. Your clothing does need to be treated with care to enhance its lifespan and smart look. By following these simple tips, Charlotte Stiffell hopes you'll be as proud to be wearing a CS uniform as they are to be supplying them. For further information, you can find Charlotte Stiffell on the World Wide Web at charlottestiffell.com, where you can find their online inquiries form. And for all inquiries, you can call them on 0207 254 7109. Charlotte Stiffell, bespoke uniform design and manufacture.